So hello and welcome to this essential oil question and answer period. Hi, my name is Jessie and I create no nonsense, minimally biased educational content on essential oils. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, and here on YouTube. I said YouTube, so Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And yeah, so I have my training in aromatherapy, and I believe that you don't have to get formal training to have basic information on essential oils. So this is why I create a social media presence and do these live. So if you are on here live and you have any questions, feel free to ask them. But I have some questions for those who asked me previously and earlier. And don't forget that I have a Ukrainian fundraiser, merch fundraiser, oily merch, as well as Ukrainian merch. The link is down in the description. So if you want to join and be a part of that fundraising, feel free to click my links. So first question is, should you dilute your essential oils for the diffuser, or can you use pre-diluted essential oils in the diffuser? So in terms of should you dilute an essential oil before putting the diffuser, the answer is no. The reason why you actually dilute essential oils when putting on your skin is to really, it's for safety issues to protect your skin, but you don't want to be putting coconut oil or carrier oil in a diffuser. It's just basically going to possibly wreck your diffuser. It might not, but it will probably clog it up. But your second question is, can you use a pre-diluted essential oil in a diffuser? I would say it really depends, and in the end, it's going to be up to you. I'll give you a few examples. So first, I'm going to share with you an example that I would definitely not put in a diffuser. So for me, I have, you can see here, Rose Auto at a 10%. That means that 90% is coconut oil, 10% is essential oil. The reason why I buy this format is because this essential oil is extremely expensive. This would be hundreds and hundreds of dollars if it was actually full, pure 100% essential oil, where now it's just 10%. So this, even on the bottle, it says, do not diffuse, because there is risks to your diffuser health. It might wreck your diffuser. Whereas there are some essential oils that do have coconut oil that I am personally comfortable with. This is something that you're going to have to decide if it's worth the risk for you. But I personally have never had problems. So for example, doTERRA Balance, if you know this brand, or like Revive Tranquility, now known as Center, if you read it, you'll see that coconut oil is a part of the ingredients. I really don't know for Balance. I don't think there's a lot of coconut oil, so I've always diffused it. Whereas Tranquility, now called Center from Revive, similar blend. When I contacted the company, they said it was only, I think it was 5% coconut oil, meaning that it's 95% essential oil. For that, I would not be concerned, and I have diffused it. So just some things to think about. Don't intentionally dilute it with carrier oil, but if it does have carrier oil in it, weigh out the risks and the pros and cons of it. Generally speaking, it's not the most ideal, but is it that big of a deal? You'll have to decide for yourself, right? So I have definitely diffused stuff that have a little bit coconut oil. So next question. Oh, and of course, ask any questions if you are here. I'm going to put a little ticker here. And next question is it ever safe to ingest? Or is sage, so the essential oil sage, ever safe to ingest? It has thujone, toxic, I think, but one company sells it in the ingest essential oils. So this is where I'm going to put a quick disclaimer out and say that in my course, in my certification course, I have not really looked in depth in terms of using essential oils internally, not ingesting as well. I am enrolled in an internal usage course right now, but I told myself I wouldn't really open it or look into it until I'm done my current course. But what I can do and what I will do is I'm going to look at a few resources, and I'm going to share with you what resources I do look at, so that if you ever want to look into yourself, you kind of want to see what I do to look into things, you have an idea what that looks like. So the first one is, if you've watched me for a while, you know that one of my favorite safety resources is Essential Oil Safety by Robert Tisserand and Rodney Young. I always have it linked in the description down below as one of my favorites and recommended. And in this book, in chapter 13, you'll see a list of different kind of essential oils that you can look up, and you can look up sage. So you'll see that there's like, I don't know, 7 different sages. I contacted the person who asked this question, and they were talking about sage officinalis. So it's in alphabetical order, and you'll find sage officinalis, so Dalmatian sage, on page 413 if you're watching it with me. And for 14, if you go a little further, it talks about the safety summary. And in the safety summary, it says hazards, it's neurotoxic, and contraindications, how it should not be used. It says should not be taken in oral doses. So according to robitussin and Rodney Young, it should not be taken in oral doses. Tisserine is usually who a lot of aromatherapists do defer to, do look at the safety information. So that does hold a lot of weight in my opinion. But I also like to cross-reference things. So I'm going to look at my computer over here, and I actually looked up the Food and Drug Administration, U.S. Food and Drug Administration data on their website, and they have what is considered GRAS status, and they actually do have sage and Salvia officinalis. So do what you will with it, the information, but personally I would not be taking it internally. And also I will look at another aromatherapist that has written about it. So Leah Jacobson, she also has a book. She has a safety book that's a little more on the conservative, really conservative safety side of the spectrum. And she says avoid if, and she basically says this essential oil is neurotoxic and potentially convulsant and not to use at all. For me, I'm more in the gray area where I would be open to using the essential oil, but internally I would not be going there. But I'd have to really look into it, see more research, and to really go into my internal usage course to really make a solid decision whether or not I would ever consider using sage internally. At this point, I would say no, not a good idea. And I'll finish it up. If you have any questions, I see there's some people here, you can feel free to ask questions, but I'm kind of end this off as saying, if you ever want to try plant therapy or Revive, you can definitely use my codes to save money on your first purchase. Essential Life 10 to save $10 off your first Revive purchase, or Jessie G to save 10% off your first plant therapy purchase. So if anyone has any questions, I'll give you another 30 seconds to ask the questions. But like I had said, I have my codes. You can watch the replay if you have any, if you want to see the questions we've basically already talked about. Anyways, I hope you guys have a lovely day and take care.